Today's going to be a short video because there's not a whole lot to share with what I'm doing. I'm doing about 2.5 hours on Zwift. That sounds delightfully fun. I got a movie queued up on the setup here, and the boogeyman and Chloe and I will be watching Con Air while doing base miles. The whole idea today, we're not here to crush anything, so I'm not choosing a route that's got like massive climbs. This one has the volcano KOM in it, which is cool if I happen to want to crush it. It's like a 5-minute, 6-minute segment, I think. It's nothing big. But the other nice thing is because it's got a lot of downhill, I can coast too. And if I were outside, I'd be coasting. If I'm on the trainer, I'm not really coasting. So I like a little up and down for my base mile rides, just so I can do that. I can coast a little bit. We totally could ride outside today, and if we did, we'd probably put about 3 to 4 hours in, maybe 50 to 60 hilly miles. We got some great courses, or great options available to us. If we head that way, we go down a big hill, and then it's flat, a couple rises here and there. We can do about 40 to 50 miles easily, and then, you know, a total loop. If we go that way, we have to cross the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, which if you haven't seen anything about it, there's this thing called Galloping Gertie. Go look up the YouTube videos of that. It's that bridge. Fortunately, it doesn't like shake and fall apart anymore. They fixed that. But considering we got 20 to 30 mile an hour winds with gusts higher than that today, it's not always fun crossing that bridge. You can totally do it. I've done it in really hard winds and it's no big deal. But if we go that way, we get into some pretty good climbing. No long sustained ones. I think the longest one's maybe a 5 or 6 minute climb. And then of course we go that way, instead of that way. We just do our Tacoma loop, and it's great riding in Tacoma, but it's still urban riding. So there's a lot of stop, go, and then we get to the park, which is a 5-mile loop. 5 miles, 500 feet of climbing. It's just up and down the whole time. It's a blast. And then we have other things available to us. There's something called Vashon Island, which we love. You got to take a ferry to get over there. So you really got to plan your day around that. It's not a long ferry ride, but you got to get there at the right time. You can do short loops on Vashon. You can do huge loops on Vashon. But whatever you do on Vashon, you're going to climb a lot. And most of the climbs on that island, it's a volcano sticking out of the water. You're going to do a lot of climbing above 10, even 15, and a lot of times 20, and even there's some climbs on Vashon that are over 40%. So those are, I wouldn't say good for base miles. Those are good coffee shop rides because there's a great coffee shop on the island too. So Vashon Island Roasters, if you happen to ever make it across the water to Vashon Island, check them out. They see cyclists there all the time. They got cookies, sandwiches, coffee, good stuff. All right, we're about halfway through our Zone 2 workout. We're 1 hour and 19 in, and there we go. You can see on the bottom there, anything that's in blue is Zone 2. Oh, look at that comment coming through. Anything in blue is Zone 2. And you'll notice there's a little bit of Zone 1 in there, and that's because we were coasting downhill. I used that opportunity to, you know, hop off the bike for a second, for about actually 60 seconds, and then back into Zone 2 again. You can see there's some green in there, which is Zone 3, which I'm really trying to avoid. I don't want to be in Zone 3. A little bit of Zone 1 is not the end of the world, but I really don't want to be in Zone 3. So I'm trying to avoid that. That being said, my Zone 2, according to my FTP, goes right up to around 200 watts. Starts at around 160. So 160 to 200 watts for 2.5 hours. It shouldn't be that hard. On a trainer, it's actually a lot harder than you'd expect. I'm going to be kind of tired when I've done this. And I think it comes down to just the self-discipline associated with keeping it moving the whole time. When you're on the road, you can pause, you can stop pedaling, you can cruise. I'm not doing that very much on the trainer, so 2.5 hours in zone 2, it's gonna load me up pretty good. So we'll see how that works. I think as I progress, I'm hoping that like week 3, my zone 2 for 2.5 hours is gonna be just easy-ish, easier. And that's gonna be a sign that I'm getting more fit. Now let me show you something a little bonkers. You may not be able to see this very well. Maybe not at all. Let's see if it'll zoom in correctly. Here I am watching a friend of mine doing his workout, streaming it on Discord. And what he's doing is 400 watts for a minute with decreasing rest between each interval. So his rest is around 150 watts. And right now his rests are only like 15 seconds long, and then he's back up to 400 watts again. And he's doing like, I think 80 to 100 of those intervals. So that kind of makes my hard day look like pretty easy stuff in comparison. But that being said, this guy's kind of insanely awesome. Certainly a wee bit better than I am. You've seen, if you've watched some of my live race streams of the Seattle United team, which they're on my channel, you can check them out. You've seen him in those races and usually finishing within the top 1 or 2 or 3. So certainly some life goals here. I'm a little ways off from that. All right, well, 2 hours, 28 minutes in. Lots of zone 2 stuff. You can see down there at the bottom. A little bit of variations here and there, but I'm not a robot. We're gonna go to 80.5 kilometers, which is right at 50 miles, and bam. 50 miles in 2 hours, 28 minutes. That's actually a pretty decent pace. There's something to be said for sitting in zone 2. I will say, that's a mental exercise as much as it is a physical exercise. Boogeyman and I are toast. Not physically, we're ready to get off these trainers. So, you know, for those people that sit there and ride these things all day long, man, you must be awesome. But part of the challenge is sitting at that consistent wattage the whole time, very little rest. It's more than you think it is, and 2.5 hours, honestly, maybe a little bit much, considering that there's no stopping. You know, when you're on the road, you stop a bit. You have stop signs, you got cars. Very rarely do you get the opportunity to just go out and do 2.5 straight hours and sit within a consistent power zone. And even on this, you know, the downhill stuff, you're still doing that same power for the most part, except for really long downhills. So maybe next time, maybe next week, I'll just do 2 hours if it's on the trainer. I'd prefer to do these outside. Zone 2, absolutely prefer to do it outside. But there's probably a bit more variability on that. So in any case, I think we're ready to eat a lot of food. I've got a lot of those grains left over from yesterday. We'll mix in some goat cheese and have ourselves a nice lunch. Probably throw in a couple cheesy poofs just to, you know, have some fun. Doesn't always have to be serious. All right, thanks for joining, and I'll get another one up tomorrow. Thanks. See you guys later.